You have roughly 28,000 days on this planet. If you're 30, about 11,000 of those are already gone. Most of them went to things you genuinely cannot recall. That math just sits there, whether you look at it or not. The problem is that knowing it does absolutely nothing about what you did with your Tuesday. So instead of another lecture about how time is precious, let's talk about why you keep wasting it even when you swear you won't, and what actually works when you finally get tired of the cycle. Starting with that little ritual you do every Sunday. You know the one. It's Sunday evening and you're doing the thing. You know the thing. The notebook comes out, or the app, or that note on your phone with an overly ambitious title. Gym at 6, deep work block from 8 to 11. Meal prep. That side project you've been meaning to start since, February? You're going to read before bed. You're going to be a completely different person. The plan looks beautiful. You are briefly, genuinely, the most optimized human being alive. Monday, 9:03 a.m. A coworker messages you something that could have been a Google search. Your boss moves a meeting to your deep work block. You open your phone to check the time, and somehow you're 14 minutes into a video about a territorial dispute between two countries you couldn't find on a map. By lunch, the plan is confetti. I did this exact thing 3 weeks ago. Planned an entire writing session, spent 40 minutes rearranging the desk instead, every single time. And yet next Sunday, you'll do it again. What's actually going on beneath that ritual is less comfortable than you'd think. So let's get into what time really is, and why we're so bad at protecting it. There's something about time that sounds obvious, but genuinely isn't. You can earn back money. You can recover energy. You can rebuild relationships sometimes. If the average life is about 28,000 days and you're 30, roughly 11,000 are gone, converted into memories of varying quality and a browser history you'd rather not discuss. You didn't spend those days badly, necessarily. You just spent them. And they're done. Even attention restores itself after a night's sleep. Time moves in one direction at one speed, and it does not care whether you used it well. It really doesn't. It's perfectly happy to pass while you're reorganizing your Spotify playlists for the third time this month. So, if time is the one resource that genuinely cannot be replaced, you'd expect people to guard it ferociously. You'd expect it to be the thing they're most protective of. Instead, most people, when they're honest about it, are doing something very specific with their time. They're being busy. And that word hides more than people think. Busy. God, busy. Everyone is so busy. Ask anyone how they're doing. Busy. Practically a greeting at this point. But look though, a hamster on a wheel is busy. The wheel is spinning. The hamster is sweating. The hamster has gone nowhere. There's an old framework for sorting through this. Eisenhower used it, which is why it's named after him and not some guy selling a course. It sorts everything you do into 4 boxes. Urgent and important, that's the burst pipe, the real deadline, the thing that will actually blow up if you ignore it. Fine, handle it. Urgent but unimportant, that's the notification, the meeting, that could have been an email, the coworker who could have Googled it. It feels pressing, it isn't. Important, but not urgent. We'll come back to that one. And then there's the 4th box. Not urgent, not important. Most people's days bounce between real problems, fake urgency, and distractions. Meanwhile, that 2nd box, the important stuff that isn't screaming at anybody, just sits there untouched, gathering dust. We'll prioritize answering a Slack message in 9 seconds, while the project that could change our career sits in a tab we haven't opened since Thursday. We're weirdly bad at distinguishing feels important from is important. So, what's actually in that quiet 2nd box, and why does everything depend on it? The stuff that's important but not urgent, that's where your life actually gets built. Exercise, relationships, skills, health, the side project you keep postponing. None of these things will ever send you a push notification. Your inbox screams, Slack screams, your phone vibrates in your pocket constantly. Your health doesn't ping you at 2 p.m. saying, hey, you should probably go for a walk. Your marriage doesn't send a calendar invite labeled, spend quality time before it's too late. Think about car maintenance for a second. You know you need an oil change. The car seems fine. You're busy. You'll do it next month. And then, next month. And then the engine seizes at 70 miles an hour on the highway. It was making the noise. You heard the noise. You were just too occupied with urgent things to deal with the important thing. The consequences of ignoring this box are slow, and then they're sudden. Date nights that keep getting skipped turn into distance. Exercise you skip for a decade becomes a health emergency at 53. Skills you never build turn into years of feeling stuck. That quiet box is where your life actually happens, and you keep skipping it because nothing in there has ever once sent you an email marked high priority. Before we talk about fixing this, we need to understand why we keep doing it. The answer is unflattering. We are, at baseline, not built for calendars. The gap between those two realities is where most of your productivity problems live. Start with context switching. A researcher at UC Irvine, Gloria Mark, measured this in an office environment, and the result caught even her off guard. Every time you check your phone, glance at an email, or respond to a notification, your brain needs an average of 23 minutes to fully return to what it was doing before. 23 minutes for a 2-second glance. Your brain doesn't just switch tasks cleanly. It leaves residue. Part of your attention is still processing the last thing while the rest of you tries to focus on the next thing. And the result is, you're doing both badly at the same time. Then there's the planning fallacy. Humans consistently underestimate how long tasks will take. Across all cultures, all ages, all professions. We have been doing this for the entirety of recorded history, and we have never, not once, learned from it. You'd think after the 900th time, a quick 15-minute task took an hour and a half, we'd adjust. We do not. And then there's the real kicker. Your dopamine system. The thing that makes you feel rewarded fires when you check things. Completion is optional, apparently. The checking itself delivers the hit, because they're designed for people exactly like us. Distractible, impatient, and easy to pull off course. Pick 3 tasks for the day. That's it. Not 10. Not a running list that scrolls past your phone screen. 3. A to-do list with 47 items. Kind of looks like you haven't made any decisions yet. Think about your fridge. You open it, stare at everything in there, close it, and announce there's nothing to eat. You don't have a food problem. You have a decision problem. Decision fatigue is real and it's quiet. Every item on that list costs you a micro-decision just to skip it. Actually, let me reorganize the list first. And now 20 minutes are gone, and you've accomplished exactly one thing: rearranging the order in which you won't do things. One big win, that's the task where, if it's the only thing you do today, the day still counts. 2 supporting tasks. And 1 reflection at the end. Did I do the thing? Yes or no? No journaling exercise, no feelings audit. Just did I do the thing? Simple survives contact with reality. Okay, you've got 3 things. Now the question is, when do you actually do them? Which brings up something most people completely ignore: where the work goes on the calendar. Here's the anatomy of a destroyed day. Meeting at 9. Meeting at 10:30. 8 minutes finding the document someone mentioned yesterday. 6 minutes getting coffee. 11 minutes of quick question from 3 different people. It's noon. You've produced nothing. You've been busy the entire time, which is the whole busyness problem coming back around. Deep work does not happen in 30-minute gaps between meetings. Those gaps are where focus goes to die. The fix is structural. Schedule your important work first. Then meetings fill the remaining space, never the other way around. Your calendar's either working for you or working against you. There's no neutral version. If something isn't on your calendar with a start time and an end time, it doesn't exist as a commitment. It's not really a commitment yet. It's just something you hope happens. Anchors get you through a day. Morning. Review your 3 tasks and decide when each one happens. Peak energy hours, which for most people is mid-morning. Join our YouTube membership and get exclusive perks like early access to scripts, input on future topics about productivity, and connect with a like-minded community that gets it. Click join below and let's build your easier, more intentional life together. Your hardest thinking goes here. Afternoon, when your brain is running on fumes, admin emails, meetings, the stuff that doesn't require your best self. Evening. Reflect and plan tomorrow. Match the task to the energy. This seems obvious. Almost nobody does it. Even perfect time blocks get destroyed by one thing, though, and it's in your pocket right now. You already know what I'm about to say. You reached for it while I was talking, didn't you? The average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's roughly every 10 minutes during waking hours. Your phone uses the same psychological mechanism as a slot machine, variable ratio reinforcement. Sometimes the notification is interesting, sometimes it's nothing. You don't know which until you check. That exact reward schedule makes slot machines the most profitable machines in any casino. These apps are built to keep you checking. I'm not entirely sure why knowing this doesn't help us resist it, but it doesn't. You look at your phone for 2 seconds, see a message, put it back down. Part of your head is now processing that message while the rest of you tries to write a report, and that attention residue lingers for minutes after a 2-second glance. Remember that 23-minute recovery time? There's research on something called if-then planning that actually moves the needle. You decide in advance what you'll do when a distraction appears. If my phone buzzes, I will not pick it up until my timer ends. People who use if-then plans are 91% more likely to follow through on their goals, just from deciding ahead of time. The study had limitations, it was mostly self-reported, but even cutting that number in half is remarkable. Phone in another room, notifications off, browser blockers on, close the door. Right now, focus requires effort, and distraction is free. Flip that equation. Make distraction the thing that takes work. So you've blocked the time, you've defended it. Now, what actually goes inside those blocks? The method is named after a tomato, which should tell you everything about how seriously the productivity world takes itself. The actual insight underneath the silly name is legitimate, though. 25 minutes of focused work, 5-minute break. The reason it works has nothing to do with the timer. The timer is a commitment device. 25 minutes is short enough that your brain doesn't rebel. For these 25 minutes, I am doing this one thing, only this thing. That contract matters. The break matters even more than people realize. And most people get it wrong. Scrolling your phone during a break is a context switch into a dopamine machine, which means you're resetting that 23-minute recovery clock all over again. A real break is getting up, stretching, getting water, looking at something that isn't a screen. The math here should bother you. 4. Pomodoros is less than 2 hours of actual work. And most 8-hour workdays contain less genuine focused effort than that. 2 hours of real focus would already put you ahead of almost everyone you know. That's depressing and liberating in roughly equal measure. I tracked my own focus time for a week last month, honestly, and the number was embarrassing. Under 90 minutes on most days, on a day where I felt busy the entire time. There's a companion rule that handles all the small stuff quietly accumulating around the edges. You're going to like this one. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Reply to that email. Put the dish in the dishwasher. Sign the form. File the thing. Send the text back. These are micro obligations, and every single one you defer stays in your head as an open loop, running in the background, eating up cognitive bandwidth. Think of it like browser tabs you forgot to close, except each one slows down your whole operating system. And they pile up. The email you didn't answer, the form you need to submit, the text you keep meaning to send. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. Each one is tiny. Together they weigh a ton. Your brain is terrible at storing these, so stop asking it to. If it takes under 2 minutes, do it the moment it appears. Everything else, write it down, get it out of your head, and into a system, any system, a notebook, an app, the back of a receipt. Your brain's job is to think, not to remember that you need to call the dentist. Clear the small stuff immediately, and the big stuff has room to breathe. Now let's talk about the single most underrated time management tool in existence. It's 2 letters, and you're probably bad at it. The most powerful time management tool is a complete sentence. No. No to the project that sounds interesting but doesn't align with anything you're actually trying to do. No to the meeting that has no agenda. No to the person who wants to pick your brain, which remains one of the most disturbing metaphors in professional life. Every yes is a no to something else. Your calendar has a fixed number of hours. When you say yes to something you don't need, you're saying no to something you do. And that trade happens whether you acknowledge it or not. Now, someone will push back on this and say that being generous with your time is how you build a network, how you discover opportunities. And honestly, there's truth to that. Early in your career, especially, saying yes to a lot of things is how you find out what matters. The distinction is whether you're saying yes by choice or by default. Saying yes less builds better relationships over time. The yeses you do give become genuine, fully resourced, not delivered from a place of exhaustion and quiet resentment. Nobody benefits from the version of you that shows up stretched across 11 commitments with nothing left for any of them. You know that feeling when someone cancels plans and you feel relief? That relief is information. It's your body telling you the yes was wrong in the first place. Treat your commitments to yourself with the same respect you give commitments to others. That's just honest resource allocation. Most time management advice hands you the systems and then quietly ignores the fact that you are a biological organism with an energy curve. You can have the perfect schedule, the tasks, time blocked, phone in a drawer, everything defended. And if you've scheduled your most demanding thinking for 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, after 4 consecutive meetings, you will produce garbage. Beautiful, well-organized garbage. The car maintenance idea from earlier applies to your own engine too. Ignore the maintenance and everything stalls, no matter how good the plan looked on paper. Your body runs on roughly 90-minute cycles. Ultradian rhythms, measurable neurophysiology, not productivity guru folklore. You have peaks and troughs throughout the day, and they're relatively predictable. Most people hit their cognitive peak in the mid-morning. Most people hit a wall between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. And most people have scheduled their most important work for exactly the wrong time. That post-lunch walk can make a noticeable difference in the afternoon. Important but not urgent material, right there. You skip it because it's never pressing, and then you reread the same paragraph 4 times at 2:30, wondering what happened to your brain. Match your best energy to your best work. Put the administrative tasks in the troughs. Protect the peaks. They're the most valuable part of your day. The default evening goes like this. You collapse on the couch. You open your phone. You surface 90 minutes later, having absorbed nothing of value. You go to bed too late. You wake up behind. You spend the morning reacting instead of deciding. The cycle restarts. Your evening is the beginning of tomorrow. 10 minutes, that's it. Review what happened today. Write down 3 tasks for tomorrow. Decide when you'll do them. Phone goes in a drawer. There's research showing that writing down when and where you'll do a task makes you 2x to 3x more likely to actually do it. The decision gets made in a calm moment instead of at 8 a.m. when everything is already on fire. That's the if-then principle applied to your whole next day. Your evening is either a launchpad or a place where tomorrow goes to lose before it starts. You are building one or the other right now. The system was never the hard part. The hard part is believing your time is worth protecting. Most people treat their own time as the lowest priority resource, freely given to anyone who asks, freely wasted on anything available. They would never burn someone else's money. They would never drain a friend's energy without thinking. Their own time, though, gone before they notice. The if-then rules, the time blocks, the evening planning. Those are small ways of taking your own time seriously. Remember Sunday evening? The notebook, the beautiful plan, the fantasy week. The person who actually follows through on that plan doesn't have a better app or a stronger will. They just stopped treating their own time like it mattered less. The whole system fits on an index card. 3 tasks, time blocks, defend them. You don't need a better app. I'm still figuring this out myself, honestly. Most weeks I get it about 60% right, but 60% right beats sleepwalking through the whole thing. And hey, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Also, let me know your thoughts on what I just shared. Oh, and there's more. I've just started a Patreon to help support these videos and connect with you more directly. Check out the link in the description if you'd like to join.